Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. We're spending some time with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I've got Jim and Rob Lee here. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. It's great to have you both.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. The funny part about this is sometimes I wish you guys could see behind the scenes a little bit about what we talk about just before we go on air, things like that, because with these guys, we're talking real estate the moment they walk in the door. I'm not joking. It is kind of fun. Because we're all interested in it, I think. There's little doubt that we all have this in common. Yes. We love homes. We love money. we like selling homes for money. We like talking about that stuff. And so we're always on it, like almost immediately. It's like the first thing. So weren't you looking for a house? Like, right? Yeah. Yes, I am. And we always are. It's fun to talk with you guys. So we haven't even, this is going to be fun. We're just going to riff just like we were before, which is great. Maybe they'll give people a little insight into what we usually talk about. So we're talking Old Town. That's where we were talking, right? Yep. Yeah. Find Joe a place in Old Town. Good luck with that. But
but you have a place picked out, Joe.
I have one in mind. Yeah, I know a guy who's selling. I know that he's already got a guy who wants to buy, and that guy's got a little more money than me.
Well,
so
Joe, why would you want to be in Old Town?
Why do I want to be in Old Town?
Yeah.
So this is a good point. I think I want the benefit of being close to everything.
Okay.
I want to be. I want to walk. I want to walk to. I want to be over there on a Friday for the gallery stroll. I don't want to be able to walk to my place.
Perfect.
Right.
I want to be able to get on the ski lift right there at the town lift. Those are the things that I'm interested in. I'm sure that's for a lot of people.
We hear that a lot, and it's interesting. I'll talk to buyers. I was just showing some buyers in Old Town in the last couple of days, and they're looking up to $1 million, but their main criteria is walkability and being on the bus. So if they're not right in Old Town, they want to be on the bus, which is an interesting thing. If you've got $1 million to spend on a home, but you still want, it's the convenience factor for the bus, and they've got the kids and they don't want to have to get in the car every time they go somewhere. They want to be able to walk to Main Street or jump on a bus and be at the resort in 2 minutes. So it's about a convenience factor.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure that's part of it. Another one for me, and I'm sure for some as well, I have enjoyed looking at some of those properties that have been redone over the years, and I really enjoyed that process. I'd love to tear things apart and start over a little bit. But I like the framework. Yeah. Right. So for me, that's something. Yeah, the Old Town charm. I like what it looks like in the outside. To some degree, probably needs paint and a whole bunch of other stuff. But those are the kinds of things that kind of appeal to me. That making something old new again. Right. So this is not uncommon either.
Well, maybe we overuse that word charm, but that is a major attraction to Old Town because it's a unique market within our Park City market. It's got its own supply and demand and pricing and so forth. And yes, it is a bit more expensive, but for the reasons that we're all describing here, location. Primarily.
Right. Yeah. Well, we always seem to get that. In one way or another, we're going to get back to location, right? The most important words in real estate.
And we also have access to skiing there, and that's to Park City Mountain Resort, and perhaps coming up Deer Valley.
Yeah, that would be an interesting addition.
And next year, looks like you'll be able to jump on the town lift and end up at the canyons as well, which is pretty wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
So talk about location. If you've got a place there, you can ski all over, go have lunch over at the canyons, and then come on back to Park City.
One thing that I found interesting is I've been driving around a little bit, and it's not like something new. I just happened to kind of think about it a little bit the other day, ruminate, if you will. There are some larger little spots that haven't been touched yet. There's not much likelihood they're going to be able to. They're protected in some way, or there's some other kind of lock to it that keeps it. They're historic values. But I still question this, and maybe you guys have a better feel for this idea. When I look at Breck for a moment, and the fact that Breckenridge looked much like this at one point, but now is incredibly different. I mean, once you leave the center part of their Old Town and you go to the resorts, it is high rises and everything else under the sun, and a lot of concrete and a lot of block, and you find that those spaces that were there and couldn't have been built on suddenly somehow now are. This is, I guess, the question. Do we, when we go over to, say, PCMR and we look at the areas just outside the parking lots there that we know, some of them we know are going to be built on. We know that they own them, they can. But the places that, that we sort of haven't, that may be able to be, but have some sort of lock on them. Do you think that these are going to change? Do you think we're going to see some zoning changes, things like that?
Not necessarily zoning changes as much as what's really going to change the flavor of the base of the Park City Mountain Resort are the parking lots that will be eventually developed.
Right.
And
we'll go underground.
Underground parking,
Yeah.
and then well, not that we're going to have high rise above that. That's yet to be determined.
Sure.
But that's going to be a whole different arrival experience.
Right. Things are going to look different.
Things
than they do
are
now.
going to look different, but the way they've continued, the city's continued to preserve the historic look in Old Town.
They're very careful about this.
It keeps the charm
Thankfully,
there.
yeah.
That's a big deal.
Well, let's continue to hope for that part, which kind of brings us to a point. There's not a lot in Old Town, right?
Right.
There is some.
Well,
So-
there's about 30 homes that are on the market right now.
That's
in and
better
out
than
and
it was
around
even
and
last time you were here.
But interestingly enough, over the past 6 months, we've had that many sales there too.
Really.
So it's busy.
And a price that's coming up with it.
Yes. Yeah.
So talk to me about what some of these numbers are like.
Well, just to give you an idea, what's on the market there, 34 homes actually,
Okay.
with an average price of $2.3 million.
Wow.
And the median price is 2.4, so right around there. But what has been selling is a little less expensive, the lower end, so to speak.
Okay.
The price, the gamut of the prices is from $665,000 all the way up to $5.5 million.
Oh my.
Right. So there's such a variety of properties, and the reason we have such a variety, even though we have limited size lots, some of these newer homes or remodeled homes are perhaps on more than one lot. So if they're on 2 or 3 lots, rather than having 2,000 square feet, you've got maybe 4,000 or 5,000 square feet because of, they bought the land there too. So that makes a big difference. So you've got an incredible variety, just various different types of structures there. Most of them, the standard size lot in Old Town is 25 feet by 75 feet. That isn't big.
That's not big.
So most homes build, shall we say, vertically, whether they're going up or down. So it's 3 or even perhaps 4 levels.
Yeah, they become
homes.
townhomes almost. don't they?
Exactly. And another thing, not all the homes have views. There's certainly views in Old Town, but view isn't the priority in Old Town.
No, it's kind of
it's the
that's something
location.
that's
It's access.
changed. Yeah.
Is
There
much
was a
more.
time when that was the big thing around here.
Right,
but
and
not
if
so
you
much.
come into town and you're looking for a view, you're more or less going to be farther out, say in Park
Yeah, you're going to be
Meadows or-
looking back at it. Is
Yeah,
what you
exactly.
mean.
When you're up
Indeed.
on the Erie, you're looking down on Old Town.
Right.
It's a whole different thing. And Old Town is also attractive to investors or second homeowners because you can rent out nightly in
Right.
the Old Town area. That gives the culture of that area a little different flavor. And so that's why we don't have a lot of young families there.
Right.
And partly that, and mainly because of the small yards and small streets where little kids wouldn't be safe.
Yeah.
Frankly.
And there's certainly the expense part with new families,
Yeah.
typically.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of things kind of going away from
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
and I think also families are always looking for, are they going to have somebody to play with? Are they going to
Right.
be other
Right.
kids? So yeah, you have a lot of things fighting against that side of things, don't
Right.
you? So it does sort of change the feel of the neighborhood, doesn't it? Yep. This is something to consider as well. Wow. Old
Yeah,
Town
it's
is
interesting because when someone is selling in Old Town, and I've had this experience many times, it's a younger couple that bought there years ago,
Yeah.
and when the prices were much lower, and now they're building a family.
Right.
And so now they want to go elsewhere to raise the kids. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, I've seen the opposite though too. I met a gentleman the other day whose home, probably one of the nicest I've seen. It's over on in the Woodside area there, and gosh, he just went through and did maybe a several $1 million renovation, and he said that it's all going to be his son someday. And he said, but he has no idea how lucky he is, which he doesn't. He has no clue. But can you imagine? And I think this brings up some interesting points too. We've talked about this a little bit. I think it's worth reminding folks about though too, especially if folks from out of town. When you're looking at something in that area, you do need to consider the historic nature of it and what you may or may not be able to do. There are limitations on what is allowed. So, I mean, I know a gentleman who's got a pretty modern house that behind it has a miner's shack. And it very literally is, 20 by 20. But he can't touch it. It has to stay. And I don't think he understood that when he got it. He's like, gosh, I was hoping to put something there. Not going to happen.
Some of those owners can be frustrated with the limitations on what they can do with their existing structure in their lot. You feel like you can own it, but that's what's kept the charm in Old Town. So as much as sometimes those guidelines are really tough, it's a good thing for Park City to keep that charm.
Indeed. We definitely want to keep some things.
So Joe, I mentioned the average prices being, 2 million or thereabouts. The average sales price, though, is much closer to about 1.7 million.
Oh.
Okay. So
there's some value
I'm sorry,
still.
even less than that. Actually, it's 1.7. There's been a number of sales in that area, but about 1.2 million is actually the average.
Wow.
So the lower end is being absorbed, and if it's a home that hasn't been improved, it's certainly with the intent to
improve it.
Fix it. Exactly.
So that means there's some value there still. Which is a good thing. That's something I don't think that we were thinking about getting to talk about much as we came into this year and saw things getting hot very fast. And we've been concerned about that. You and I, we've all talked about this. We want it to get hot slowly. This is we really want this to be a watched hot.
We want it to warm up.
Yes. So the good news is that's the case. Again, these little details are why having a realtor involved is important, because it can save you tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, even into the hundreds of thousands of dollars when you're talking millions. So in getting somebody like that, like you guys involved, very important. How do they get in touch with you guys?
You can go to our website, www.leehartley.com. Feel free to give me a buzz, 435-647-8010. All
right. Rob is very, he's got the pulse of the market. Jim, on the other hand, has been skiing a lot. I'm totally kidding. That's the pulse of the market,
I'm
too.
I'm totally serious.
All right, we'll take a break, come back with more right here on the Mountain Morning Show. Let's talk more money. How about that?